So there we have it. I just did a little gardening. I hadn't really planned on it today. I planned on doing it this morning, and then I got doing other things and never got out here. But then I just came out on the deck, on the porch, and you can see sky behind me. It's kind of getting cloudy and overcast, like it's been humid, like it might rain again. So I thought I had these few plants that I dug up from the garden before I left the other day, and thought it would be a really good time to get them in the ground. So I did. And let me now I'll talk to you about what I just planted. Hold on. So first of all, this little rose is a very special plant to me. I had this rose at my house, my first house in Chattanooga, and it got to be 10 foot tall easily and was beautiful. And it was covered in pink English roses, very perfumey, very gorgeous. Last couple years, and last summer when I was moving out of that house, a friend of mine came over, was helping me move, and she took about half a dozen or so cuttings from it and rooted them. And then this spring she brought me this one from her efforts, and it did bloom the day I was moving, the day before I moved actually. So you can see there's a dead hip there, and then another one about to bloom, which may or may not bloom now that it's gone through the shock of transplanting. But I couldn't leave it behind. So my vision is that this is the front porch, and that's the swing, and so it's on this corner. So my vision is if it gets as tall as it did at the other house, it is going to come up this porch post and be perfumey and gorgeous. And maybe I'll plant another one over here or something, but I needed to get it in the ground because I wanted to keep it alive. And then we'll walk around here to where I planted some other things. The next thing I planted was this white yarrow. It's a medicinal yarrow. It does have the pretty white flowers. I harvested a bunch of it before I cut it back so I could transplant it before I moved. And it's pretty hardy, so even though it's looking pretty sad right now with the heat, I think it'll perk back up, especially if it rains tonight now that it's in the earth. And then the iris, I believe, now I have not seen these bloom yet, on one of my free cycle groups this spring, someone offered them up, and I think they are purple Siberian iris, which are one of my favorites. My vision is to fill this front yard eventually with a beautiful cottage garden of pink and purple and white flowers against the yellow house. Now, I excuse the little piles of cast poop. I haven't been out here to clean that up. This is a fern that is sitting here from the previous owner, and it still has some life. So another day I think I'm going to try to get, I'm sure it's very root bound in this Monrovian or whatever. Yeah, whatever, the plant pot from the garden center. So I needs to come out. I don't know if I'll plant them in the ground and see how they take off, or there is a ceramic planter in the back that would be pretty with fern in it. So maybe divide it up. I'll do something with it, but it can stay. It's been here for 2 years or more. It can be here another couple weeks. And then this is my mugwort, which got over 6 foot tall. And as you can see, I had to chop it back. Again, mugwort can be a little bit invasive, so I don't think I have to worry about it not surviving. But I think it'll do fine. But I was really looking out here, as you can see, it's very wilted. So now that I got in the ground, hopefully the roots will take off and it'll come back for a second go, probably this fall. So now I'm going to take you to something I discovered this morning after my morning walk. So just a sec. The first plant I planted, I almost forgot. Rosemary. And if you have read the Practical Magic books or seen Practical Magic movie, the saying of plant rosemary by the garden gate. So here's my gate. Here's my rosemary. This was my Christmas tree last year in my little place. So hopefully it will take off and become a huge rosemary bush here in this spot by the garden gate. I debated if it should be on the entrance side or the hinge side of the gate, and I chose this one because even if it does get big and come over the walkway, brushing past it will release its scent and it will be lovely. Okay, now for the magical discovery I made this morning. So I don't know if I mentioned in any of my previous videos about buying this house that one of the look at the house behind me, things that really attracted me to this house was this deal, this magic. This entire lot is also included with the house. So I have an entire extra lot, and my property goes all the way to this corner. And at the last retreat I went to, we learned about tulip poplar and the magic of tulip poplar, and I was pleased to discover that I have tulip poplar along as 2 different street trees here on my property. And then I don't know if this is a live oak. It doesn't have oak-shaped leaves, but I haven't done enough research on live oak to know what a live oak looks like, but it has a lot of that Spanish moss. But this is the discovery I made this morning coming back from my walk. You can see this in, see if I can extend my pedal up there. My belief is that is a lion's mane mushroom. There's a big knot hole there, and it fits all of the descriptors of lion's mane. Thing is, I don't have a ladder right now tall enough to get me up there to reach it, to cut it down. It was on my to-do list today, was to go buy a tall ladder, and I didn't do it yet. So that is really on my wish list. Because see, where is it? Whoop, whoop. Yeah, see? Can you see how high up there it is? So it'll take me a minute to get up there and get it. But I have been reading, here's my pretty yellow house and my little silver car. And this tree is also one of the reasons I bought this house. When I found out that this lot and this tree were included in the deal, I was all about it. So let's walk back across my yard. And here, I'll turn you around so you don't have to look at my hot, sweaty face. And look at my pretty little house, which isn't so little, I know. But I don't know what order these videos are going to get put up. So I don't know if I've showed you this interesting window in what will soon be my sewing and craft room. But obviously at some point they needed to replace that window pane and found an old window or a piece of window from a law office and fit it in there. So I think that's a pretty cool little thing. Haven't been able to really, it's Hobbs and something, and I cannot figure out the second name or word. So when I do, I'm going to see if I can do some research to find out where those law offices were, maybe who they were. But I think it's pretty cool. So here's my lot. And this tree behind me, that's actually in the backyard on the other side of the fence, can you see it? In the spring was covered in, there's a wisteria vine growing up it. It's gonna need some work, but that's kind of exciting too. My visions for this yard are perhaps some kind of large garden, maybe with some fruit, well, definitely with some kind of fruit trees. I'd like to put a mini orchard out here, peaches. I know peaches will grow here, it's the south. I gotta do some more research. I don't think apples grow very well down here, but peaches, what other southern fruits, if you know, let me know. But, and then a pollinator garden around the orchard to bring in the pollinators for the trees. It'll be lovely. So there's my yard. There's my... And the previous owner, let me flip you around again, had, I don't know if you can see them, there are 3 crepe myrtles, white lacy crepe myrtles. She had these planted in the yard, which are greatly appreciated as they grow bigger because they will shade the porch. They are Natchez, it's upside down, but Natchez crepe myrtles. So I'm very excited about seeing those continue to mature and be beautiful. So I'm gonna take my shovel back around to the back side of the house. And since we're outside and it hasn't started raining on me yet, I'll take you around the back of the house, show you the backyard. So here. There is another set of stairs here. There is a, what do you call it, post and handrail in the backyard that's all rotted that needs to go in there. All of this eventually is going to have to come out because, well, I don't know if it has to come out. I kind of want it to come out. There's a whole bunch back here. It makes a great ground cover and it really, you know, but I think being in the south, it's also, for good and ill, it is a harbor, safe haven for snakes. Now, I don't like rodents, so I don't mind a black snake or 2 living in here, but all these vines have to come up off the house, especially, I mean, I'm going to have the house painted, so that Virginia creeper and, I don't know, there might be some poison ivy in there too. All that's got to come out of there. This is probably not good between the house and the air conditioner either. Yeah, but here's my backyard. So here, this I thought was a crepe myrtle. It looks, the trunk and everything do, but it looks like one, but I don't see any blooms on it yet. That could be the fault of the wisteria. And I'm assuming that these vines are the wisteria. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Do wisteria have big thorns? I didn't know that, but that one has thorns. And, but I can see a very lovely little shade garden in here. Would be point. Now there's this old garden swing that's very decrepit and probably very rotted. I haven't dug it out enough to tell yet. Not high on my priority list. And then this lovely patio back here that could use a little love, a lot of love. But it's solid, it's level, it's good. Now this side of the building is also, well, we won't go into what's going on with the house. But yeah, I'm envisioning some garden lights and things out here and make a nice little place. So now that little tin roofed shed outside my fence is also mine, but it's in a very awkward and place. It's got a lot of rot, but as you can see, maybe you can see, it has electric running to it. It has a light in it. It has outlets in it. That's handy. And I don't know if I could, you know, if I took it down, you know, I mean, but what I would like to do is take that down so I could park in this is the alley behind here. If I had that space, my car would fit in the alley and I could park in the alley. And then perhaps back in this corner, if I cleaned out all this crap, I could put a little garden shed. And that would be nice to just have a little storage shed back here for tools and lawnmowers and things like that. So lots of potential here in this backyard. The fence is needs good power washing. It needs repairs in a couple places, but it's a vinyl fence, so that's nice. And I did get my back door where I can go in and out of it now. And on another video, I'll explain the plywood and what's going on in the room inside there. But that's when we do another interior video. So I'm going to walk back around the front, put away my empty pots, and turn off my hose, and go inside before it starts raining. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. We'll talk soon.